Armored Core has a lot of mechs to its name, from the smallest of MTs to the largest bulky walkers. But every Raven has to start somewhere, and that somewhere is right here. For today, we take a look at the first mech that our Raven uses to earn their wings, the C-2000, codenamed Orbiter. Starting like always with some of the history, the armored core that would eventually become known as the Orbiter actually starts out fairly innocently. Initially created as a scout mech used by civilian corporations in zero-G environments, the company known as Reuse and Development took a keen interest in this specific model, buying many models and modifying them for military applications. However, compared to more modern and modified ACs, the standard C-2000 was somewhat disappointing. However, that didn't stop the mech from being popular, and one handler by the name of Walter seemingly had an affinity for the mech, using it as a base for the mechs of two pilots, designated 620 and 621, the latter of which use an orbiter known as Loader 4. It also serves as the base model for the mercenary known as Raven, who pilots a modified version known as Nightfall. However, to talk about the C-2000 in full, we have to discuss the individual parts. This is an armored core after all, and just so that we are clear, this is the standard orbital model we are covering. So units like Nightfall and Loader 4 are sadly going to be excluded from this breakdown, as those mechs are so famous that they honestly deserve an entire video all on their own. Starting with the core of the armored core, the CC-2000 orbiter body not only gives the AC its designation, but also is known to give the mech excellent EVA capabilities in space. While its overall combat potential is lackluster compared to dedicated military technology, it makes up for this by having a very small energy profile, along with it being very easy to use for new pilots. Moving up to the head, designated the HC-2000 Finder Eye, was another civilian termed military part. Meant to survey land masses, this head was modified by R&D to be a sufficient long-range sensor suite, allowing the pilot to easily spot targets whilst keeping energy use to a minimum. The arms of the AC likewise are known as the AC-2000 tool arms, and were designed to pick up scrap in deep space. However, thanks again to a low energy design, this made it ideal for the scout turned war machine. Finally, the LC-2000 crawler legs were, yet again, a low energy option that were originally built to survey astronomical bodies, but were converted by R&D into military hardware. In addition, there is actually a variant model of the orbiter, known as the RC-2000. However, the only difference in its design is the fact that it uses a reverse jointed RC-2000 spring chicken legs, rather than traditional legs like normal. And as you might expect, these legs were meant for transporting materials, but were converted into military legs by R&D for, again, their low energy usage. Now, while this armored core does have other standard parts, such as the thrusters, generator, and FCS system, these parts are rather interchangeable with others, and continue to uphold this mech's intent of minimum energy usage while allowing beginner pilots to easily control the machine. And overall, that's the Orbiter, a scout mech turned hero, or killer, of Rubicon. And thanks to it being an AC, you can trick out your orbiter to your heart's content. Just keep in mind that you're still piloting a converted civilian scout mech rather than a proper military unit. Now, before I go, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Tyler Pal 271, who actually suggested this mech in the comments. If you want to see a piece of sci-fi tech broken down into a bite-sized video, please leave it in the comments below and I'll take a look. Until next time, this is Nerd Trooper, signing off.